Greetings, my fellow ascenders, on this beautiful day. I hope everyone's doing well. So, during my quiet time, after meditation, I had this question. So, this is how usually my downloads come up. I would have a question just lingering in my mind somewhere. And then, once I've quietened my mind enough, then I can address it. I was wondering how the Most High, God, or the creative principle, the universe, or the highest frequency, however you want to call him or her, it is the creator of all things, that intelligence that started all of this and is still maintaining it like in the invisible, just like our bodily systems continue working without our conscious mind or our conscious brain having to control everything, like the heartbeat, digestion, excretion, secretion, all of that continues to do it. Yeah, because there's a whole lot of work going on inside of you. Don't think if you just resting or you chilling that even the God in you is also chilling. No, works on and on, continues forever, doesn't get tired. That's what scripture means, but he does not sleep or tire. Because you gotta stay alive. Okay, so besides that, I was wondering how he can be so certain that what he says, a prediction or a promise that he makes, say, maybe like in ancient times when a prophet or a human being who is sensitive to spirit or things of the quantum realm and could get downloads from the Akashic records, and have to translate them to the language of that time, or in a way that the group that he needs to give the message to can understand, from the language of the metaphysical, which does not have letters, by the way. It's frequency, vibrations, it's sometimes colors. Emotions are big on it, because now in frequency, when it goes with colors or something that means something to you, it becomes emotions, and it becomes something tangible that you can now express with your mouth or with your language. So what helps out is that each soul that comes here has their certain chosen blueprint or purpose or mission that they are coming for here. Because you know the universe is very I don't want to say stingy, no, because it's abundant. It's not wasteful for no reason. It's very sustainable. The same energy that existed during the Big Bang and when the stars were forming and blasting and all of that to make this universe is still the very same energy being used now to grow your crops, for you to run that marathon, for your heart to be beating, for you to be pushing that baby out, for that baby to be getting distinctions in school. All of that energy is still the same one. The breath that you breathe today, right now, that you are breathing, is the same breath that your ancestors thousands of years back was breathing. It's just that the universe is so meticulous in its recycling, in its cleaning of energy, in its transforming of it from this form to the next. You'd say it's new, just came out of nowhere somewhere. But who? There's new energy. No, it could actually be even the energy from the ammonia from your dumpings or your dumpings of cows or in the sewage that you're now breathing, but there will not be a faint of smell or even a faint of bacteria that was there maybe 10 years ago when you did shit it out, and now it's coming back to you. Because it would have gone through so many processes, so many beings. It would have done a whole lot of work and split up, joined together with other ones before it came back to you. But the point there is, it's not wasteful. And that point leads me to getting now my answer. Because when I'm thinking about this, and so the answers are coming, and the connections there are connections that align or happen. I would advise for anyone to actually do this. If you have any question, something that was never answered by anyone, or you're curious about, even before you start searching or Googling or anything, you'd be surprised by how much information that has not turned into knowledge that your brain has access to, that could lead you to what you should search if now the information is lacking there, or what you can ask somebody that you trust that knows on that subject, you see. Because I'm not saying that anyone and everyone can channel, or maybe it's their destiny, or it's what their soul chose to come and do here. Because they might be specializing on something totally different, but equally as important for the universe. However, this helps to strengthen your brain capabilities or cognition, because each time you learn something new, there are actually new neural pathways that get created physically. There are neurons that get born and or connects, make other bridges, to make other highways in your brain and spine to now accommodate this new influx of knowledge that it should be able to retrieve anytime. So it should have like a map. Think of it like, so each time you learn something new, there's workers on the road. They're busy breaking ground, and they're gonna put the road, the tar, and all of that. Yes, it's not gonna be easy and it's gonna be messy, but it's still the building. And if you had a choice, you would just rather leave it, because you'd feel like it's a waste. Not thinking that it's actually investment, because if you do it once and you have that road there, can have that road there for 50 years. It's yours now, it's your asset. Just because you think you put your brain in the gym just for that time. Anyway, this is not what I was talking about, but there was just a side advice. How God can be assured that his promises or his convictions that he laid down with the prophets and spiritual people come to pass, and the ancient civilizations like the Sumerians, the Mayans, the Aztec, the ancient Egyptians, and Kemet, all of those, because we realizing thousands of years after that their predictions are actually coming true. Some have come true already, some are still coming true. So what can we attribute that to? We'll say magic, of course, because magic is it's actually a universal law that is unknown, or it's cause and effect with the cause unknown to us. And since we're building a new earth, getting in a golden age, we can't just leave a whole lot of things unknown. Who's gonna know things? who's gonna build this new earth? Okay, we're gonna rely on a group of people that also have their intentions and ulterior motives, and even if some of them would start with good intentions, absolute power corrupts absolutely. If they have all the power and they don't have to answer to the masses, because the masses don't even know what's going on up there or what they're deciding with their lives, then that shadow side of a human being, of course, will see an opportunity to gain more without having to account for it. And that's how corruption starts. And then it ends up being a culture, because now it's like it's the easiest way for them to live good life, just like in the animal farm, how the revolution was first with good intention, when the all the animals decided they're taking the farm now, because the owner of the farm, the farmer, is making them work all the time, but he's relaxing and eating them, and they were not satisfied. So they decided, okay, we're gonna revolt. Fine, that's good. But now, who's gonna lead? Because someone has to lead. And then the pigs, because they were the talkative ones, or the ones leading the revolt, decided we're gonna lead. And they had a slogan: all animals are equal. Okay, so the master finally left because they overpowered him. There was majority over minority, the farmer. Now the pigs were the leaders. The first signs that they should have known by that, okay, I think we're going back to the same indoctrination and forced labor without pay and good conditions that we were in the first place, is when the pigs moved into the house, into the farmer's house, and were sleeping in the farmer's sheets, eating the farmer's food. Now they're different from the masses. It's not like they are saying, okay, you know what, we'll build shelter for all of you. There will be closest to the same shelter that we're going to use, or we're going to share sheets with you guys, or let's work together to attain these sort of grander things in life so that all of us are satisfied with having them. No, they now let ego take over. When they let ego take over, ego obviously will think for the self only. He won't think for the all, because the ego is confused. But we should really listen to the ego. The ego is confused. The ego thinks that you are your body. It does not realize that your body is carbon dioxide. It's carbohydrates, carbon dioxide with hydrogens, and yes, all of these other elements, but it's basically machinery. It's like that tractor that the farmer was using, just a very advanced one. So the ego will think for the tractor and will not think for the spirit which we all share. Because if the spirit in maybe your neighbor's house it's not right, it's not well, they are, yes, we can't all fight poverty, but there are things that you can do that don't require you to take out money, because inflation is bad for the spirit. They constantly in stress. They are they are sad, they are they're miserable, maybe they're fighting, maybe there's abuse there, domestic abuse. You see the children, they're always looking down, they're not enjoying their childhood. That kind of tension, that kind of energy, it builds up and then it lasts in the air. It becomes an entity that on its own that wants to live. It then now adopts Darwinism, if I can put it like that, survival of the fittest, because anything that gets born in the 3D realm or becomes part of the physical, its primary goal will be to survive and produce after itself. Why produce after itself? Because it knows that it can't stay in that one state forever. It's bound to perish in that state. So for it to not be scattered into other things where it's not itself anymore, it's now made something else, it will try by all means to identify with the characteristics that it has made for itself that time and separate itself from any other characteristic that is outside of it. That way it survives as that character, as that ego. It's a lot of work to keep that up because you're fighting against nature, you're fighting against what the cycles and flow of the universe, which is what basically literally makes the universe go round, makes everything continue working. That there's cycles of birth, death, rebirth, cycles of or seasons. There's winter, there's summer where there's plenty, winter where there's less. It has to continue in those motions in order to keep the balance and for it to propel forward. So these cycles created by certain blueprints or patterns, they follow these formulas or this pattern of going. Let's say, for example, with the seasons. Okay, before I go there, let me not jump. The neighbor first. You know that their primary problem is money, but you can't afford to give them money. That shouldn't be able to stop you from being able to help. You are made in God's image, remember. So there is a lot that you can offer that doesn't even require the physical or material. Sometimes when you're just walking out and you see them down there, greet them with a smile, like you don't see their problem, like you see the human being behind the problem. Greet them with a smile, compliment them with something, make them laugh. You have no idea what that could do for a human being. For their day, maybe their week, or maybe you could just change their perspective just like that in those few minutes. And with that change in perspective, an idea comes to them. Because now there's hope. You've added hope. Hope is important because it leads to faith. And with faith, when it's faith now, it has to happen. Whatever is being prepared or being expected, once it goes from hope to faith, it's now bound to happen. You could have changed a life without even knowing the ripple effect that was going to continue, but you know that you planted a seed there. Do that and see how it makes you feel. It goes both ways. It doesn't just go there. It has to come back because the law of balance, remember, law of polarity is always at work. So which brings me to how the Almighty knows for sure that what it says will come to pass. He knows because he knows that the universe always follows certain laws or principles according to the cycles that are happening. On a larger micro scale, that's with galaxies, planets, what continents, seasons, days, bodily cycles. It's all in cycles. The way the universe loves cycles, or it's created to just be in cycles, to just explode into existence. Even if you could blow a bubble, if you blow a bubble, it will, regardless of the shape of the thing you're using to blow it with, it will intend to want to go from a point, expand outside itself, making a cylindrical shape, a cycle. Which is partly why Nikola Tesla says, if you want to know the secrets of the universe, or how the universe works, you should think in terms of numbers and frequencies, energy, numbers, and frequency, because that's what creates everything. So this circle, the 360 degrees, there's 3 and there's 60, and Nikola Tesla's favorite number is 369. 9 will be the completion. I'm not going to go too much there in numbers. I'm here on this one, more in the spiritual. But, and if you have noticed that my channel tries by all means to take away the segregation or these boxes that society has put classified knowledge or information in, only for certain people to repel it or to attract it according to what they identify themselves as. Remember, that's ego. Because everything is connected. And if you really want to understand spirituality and understand it and use it in your life, you can't take it as just jargon that you cram, because it was said like this, so it's like this, and I'm gonna do it like this. You'll be missing so much in there, because you won't be understanding. Even in scripture it says that my people shall perish because of lack of knowledge. Not because they lack the information. It could be there written down. The 10 Commandments, they're there, right? Moses gave them to the Israelites a long time ago, thousands of years ago. But how many do we break each day? How many people break them each and every day while they know them? Not while they know them, while they have it registered somewhere in their minds. It's because they don't understand and understand them. If they understood and understood them, then they'd realize that the laws are not, these universal laws are not to suppress them or to take anything away from them, or to make their lives difficult so that they make another one's life better than theirs. No. Whatever you do on the outside is what's going to come back on the inside. Remember the law of correspondence, hermetic second law. What is within is without. As within, as without, as above, so below. Correspondence is always there. When energy goes that way, it has to come back this way, some way or the other. The pendulum. So if we go back to the neighbor's situation, so if you, by example, segregate or separate yourself from the neighbor's problems because you didn't cause them, of course you didn't cause them, and we can't blame you for them, and you shouldn't blame yourself also. But the thing is, it will end up affecting you some way or the other. Whether the stress of hearing the noise of them fighting at night, and you don't know if you'll wake up and someone's dead or someone's not, that will, as a human being, that will eat you up inside. So already your whole day is disturbed. If you find out tomorrow everything is fine, you can breathe better, but that imprint of that feeling, that coldness that you were feeling all night, not knowing what's going on, not knowing if you're going to blame yourself the next day for not doing anything, it will last long, and it's causing some damage within you. And remember, now it's an entity. If it lasted long, it will want to continue surviving, so it will attract things of that nature so that you continue feeling like that some way or the other. That's how the law of attraction works on both sides, on the negative and on the positive. And because these laws are constantly at work, if you're unconscious, usually what you will get is not what you want, because you didn't have a say. You didn't put your own 2 cents in, like, wait. Okay, I see what's going on here, but I wanted to go this way. Why is the momentum going this way? No, you won't get a chance to do that because you're unconscious. You're just going by a certain program that someone gave you. You're not understanding what's going on in your life and how the energies are working and how the universal laws are ruling your life. And we can't escape them, whether we like it or not. We cannot, because even the constellations, they are bound by them. Imagine such huge entities, such huge beings, stars. You think they don't have any laws guarding them, because they're so big. They can be like, F it, you guys are going this way, me, I'm gonna go that way. They can't. Yet there is no one behind them with a shambok, or no one making them fear inadequacy or loss or discrimination for not following those laws. They will follow them because they know they are for them. They will work in their favor if they are conscious of them and follow them. They don't just follow because it's being done. They follow because they understand their part in the grand scheme. So the most high frequency will be the frequency that understands all other frequency before it, underneath it, and the entirety, but will not be specific with any frequency, which is why we cannot see it with our physical senses. Because now if we can see that energy with the physical sense, it's already differentiated into something. It has chose a certain frequency. Now it cannot know another that is higher than it. That's why God is invisible, because he is everything and nothing at the same time. For him to, or for this energy to know all possibilities or be able to differentiate in any form, it has to be formless. So that's the breath that we breathe every day, the space that is around us, that's keeping us in place. It knows the laws and knows that after a cycle of this much, of this time, or besides time, because it doesn't only work with time. I think the 3D is the only realm that is ruled by time, or we have made time become our rulers. Usually it's frequency. Yes, frequency. It's how the cycles, how many times something happens, the occurrence, the momentum, the stubbornness of that sort of pattern being there, that qualifies it as a cycle that can be calculated and jotted down. That on the next cycle, there could be a few differences, but if it continues in a certain way or certain manner, then you can deduce that it's most probably going to result in a manner like this one, because we've seen it before. Now we just have to extrapolate for the conditions of how the conditions might have changed to get to that time. For example, now improved technology or weather patterns changing, things like that. But then you can, by looking at, if you are conscious of knowing the universe and the cycles, just like the Mayans did, you can predict something that will happen thousands of years from now. And you cannot do that if you're just going on religion and be like, no, I believe, even though I believe blindly, I don't know what's going on, I don't know why I believe this, but I believe it. You're not being in charge of your life. You're not a player. You are a pawn in this whole grand scheme. And I'm not saying that to be rude, because there was a time where I was a pawn also. I'm saying it to awaken you to realize that this is your time. And yes, we cannot all of us think about, I should do something for myself or whatever. Yes, there should be teamwork. There should be working together, but we should understand why we are doing that. That way, you can be able to even improve it. Improve it for the general population, or improve it for yourself in saving some energy, but get the very same results that were required, or even better results, which could give you a promotion at work, or give you a skill that could take you to another field, or that could help you actually build something for yourself. It starts with wanting to know and being involved, and not just taking something that is just said like it is and singing it like the sheep there in Animal Farm. Because the song changed in Animal Farm. When now the pigs were staying in the house and they were not working anymore, the other animals were working and they were still eating the same food that they were eating before. And some animals started to see that, okay, it seems like there's no change here. It's just the masters have changed face, but it's still the same treatment. So when they asked about this, because the sheep would be chanting, all animals are equal, the other ones who were still studying the situation and don't just follow, we're wondering, Haibo pigs, what's going on now? Why does it seem like you all are having a nice time, you living like kings and queens, and we're still in the same position? Then the pigs, because they don't want to let go of these pleasures of life now, they've forgotten their initial purpose. The ego has taken over. Instead of correcting the mistake that they've fallen into, they try to twist the minds of the people, basically lie, to keep on doing the filth that they are doing now. Which is how propaganda gets introduced. Squilla was their propagandist, because Squilla was good at manipulating and twisting things, twisting facts into fiction that you won't even see is fiction, and you're also going to get excited about it. That time, while you're all excited about it, yes, you're chanting what he's saying. He's going to sleep in a queen bed with silk sheets, and you're going to sleep in a dump. But you're happy, you are agreeing with what they're saying. Animal Farm was not a children's book. It was a statement. The author George Orwell, I love him. He was making a statement about society. If you read it well, you'll see the parallels. So now the slogan changed from all animals are equal to all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. If you think of it now as a human being, you'll be like, but that doesn't make sense. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. How are you more equal? But because the culture that they've put the animals under, especially because the majority were sheep who have the loudest voices to shout out and drown out any kind of sense that comes out of the other animals, they will push the new slogan or new propaganda to the sheep so that their voices drown out any other voices and everything continues that way. Nothing gets solved. When the sheep heard that slogan, without even thinking for 1 second or 2 seconds, does it make sense for us? No, it just sounded nice. So they were now chanting it. All animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. All animals are equal. They are basically, it's like being imprisoned while you're innocent, but you're given the locks to your cell. They'll be like, you know what? If you want to go drink water or get some sun outside right here, you can go get some sun. You see, you're free. You can go get some sun, get some water. Just make sure that at this time you are inside your cell and it's locked. So are you free? That's how society is right now. Anyway, so now animal form. Going back to yes. So the Most High, or God, or the Creator, knows that for sure what He says or gives to His prophets will happen because they observe the cycles and the mentalities of the species at that time that it's evolving and how they are going about, and they can see to there's gonna be an accident there, it seems like that's a window, that's gonna be an opportunity for something great to happen. So if they don't see it by themselves, let me pitch in to ones that are listening, those who have ears to hear and eyes to see. Let me give them hints so that they can go more into themselves, within themselves, and they will find these clues or answers so that they can warn the rest, and then it could go into that direction, and then we could avoid that accidents and go into a golden age. That's how He knows. But now, in order for this to go into fruition, you have to play a part also. Because you remember in Scripture, it says that if two or more of you are there, I am there. Who is I am? When Moses was speaking to the burning bush, the bush might have been burning physically, or it might have been burning within him, like the Holy Spirit burning within him. That is beside the point, because it won't help us with anything right now. We just should know that the expression that He used, or how He connected with it, was through a burning bush. He asked, when He was being tasked by Spirit to go and save the Israelites and lead them out of enslavement and injustice. Because He knows that people are stubborn, they can't believe easily, especially if something is actually gonna help them, because it will require them to leave or to leave some of the things that make them comfortable, because those things are usually pacifiers used by the oppressors to pacify them and keep them in that space. Of course. So, excuse means I'm getting a download, that's why I'm burping so much now. So, he knew that he was going to face this resistance. So he was asking Spirit, who will I say sends me, Lord? And Spirit said, tell them that I am sent you. I am that I am. And that will be my name from now and forever. That's what's written in Scripture, right? That's what they say Moses said. And it makes sense. Because I am means conviction of existence. I, the self, you. When you say I, it means you notice that you exist. You can point to yourself as an existing species. And then when you say am, that's a conviction that you exist. So you are this. You know for sure that you are this. And therefore, the atoms and elements in nature should conform to create and be and stand in that conviction of you being that. So if you say that I am lazy, then everything else around you, because the universe is always listening, should help you get your wish and be lazy. Because you have used God's name, the creative principle, the energy that creates is I am. If you say I am, and whatever you say after that, it will obey as much as it is at the highest frequency. It knows more than you, but it gave you free will, so it can't go against your free will. And you co-creating with it, it has to make conditions in a way that it accomplishes your wish. That's why Scripture says we create with our mouths. We create with our words. Because it happens literally. In the quantum field, the atoms, the subatomic particles are waiting for your instruction, either in words or feeling or vibration, and they'll act accordingly. That is a process of creation. That is being I am. Okay. Now this is taking longer than I thought it would. But just to sum up, because I want to go back to my point. So how it knows is according to the universal laws and how they impact us. So when Yeshua, the Christ, was here, coming as a teacher, so it was a soul that decided, probably a soul that had already come in this realm to accomplish its purpose and is supposed to be moving on to something else, but saw that, okay, it seems like they're struggling a lot. They are missing the mark so much now, so much so that they're sinking. They keep falling instead of going up. Someone has to go help out there. And then the most high frequency was probably like, hey, soul, you do realize that if you go there, you can't go with so much intel. You can't go with so much memory. Your physical body will not be able to handle it when it's still coming out of the mother's womb and forming and all of that. It's gonna be too much info and it will confuse the atoms and everything. You have to leave the memory and then go and recall it there. But because your primary purpose of going there is to recall this knowledge and teach it, it means as your parting gift with me here in the Most High Realm will be certain clues or codes that will be left in your soul, those triggers so that when you get there and when you're growing up, you will receive these messages or triggers that will trigger the memory to come back slowly but surely. You get direction into where to study, who to listen to, and all of that, so that this memory, so that you remember fully enough to be able to teach. And when you are teaching, it's also to prompt them to remember, not for them to have a doctrine that they're going to follow like that, because they will still be working like robots. They won't understand why they're doing everything, and they're going to go back like it happened. Like it happened with Atlantis, like it happened with the ancient civilizations. We still fell. Went down to the dark ages. Go up a little bit, we're doing industrial. We're going up. We think so because we're looking at it in just one direction of technology, and also we don't realize that we are actually killing the bodies now. So that's still a fall in a way. So it's an up in matter but fall in spirituality. Spirituality is now owned by gangs, basically, mafias called religion, which have their own strict rules, and these rules are not according to universal laws or anything that benefits the general population. They are in that section of Animal Farm, where absolute power corrupts absolutely. Smallanyana group getting benefits from the work of the masses and not taking care of the masses. So when Yeshua came and he had to now translate this information from the Ether and from his teachers, because he went to go study in Egypt. During those years, nobody ever wondered where was here in between the age of 13 and 30, because we only hear about him when it gets to his teenage years, and then nothing about Yeshua or Jesus or whatever that you like calling him now, but I call him Yeshua, until now his 30s, where he's starting his ministering and teaching. He was learning, he was remembering, he was collecting that data that is accessible to all of us. It's just the willing heart and the purpose of your soul that directs you to it. And what I love about him is that he did not even hide that it's possible for any one of us to reach his state, the Christ state, where Christ is a title for an enlightened being at a certain state. It was not his name. It's not an exclusive surname or name for Yeshua or Jesus, and he never claimed it as so. He had accomplished the level of enlightenment to earn the title the Christ, just like Krishna did in Hinduism, just like Buddha did in Buddhism. I don't know if I think Muhammad also, when he died, he was a Christ already. He got to the level of enlightenment. It's not easy to get there. That's why there's only a few. You can count them in your hand that have existed throughout the times that we have records of. But it's something that is accomplishable. What does this tell us? This tells us that Yeshua or Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Krishna, they are not God. They are not exclusively God that we should worship. They are human beings who have reached a level of knowing thyself to a point where they are in constant communion with the most high frequency. They live it. So they have the mind of God already, which is always existing within us and in the ether. But you just need certain codes. You need your key lock to go and open the top drawer, because we usually have the keys for these smaller drawers, and we don't even know there's drawers going up. That's why you won't even strive to ask for other keys to go up. So you end up here, and that's why you end up worshipping a being that has keys that are up there, because you see it as magic, something impossible. Remember I said magic is cause and effect, where the cause is unknown to you, not because the cause does not exist. Nothing can exist on its own without coming from something else, because remember, energy, law of conservation of energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It's merely transformed from one form to the next. This is why there's a concept of impossibility is nothing. Now it just goes with your patience, your knowledge, your will to strive to remember and to formulate and be in charge of your life. And don't get me wrong, being in charge of your life is not looking down on other people or discriminating on other people or hating other people's ideas because now you found some other ideas. No, being in charge is making sure that you do not mutually exclude yourself from any information, any religion, any culture, anything that goes on in the universe. You should be there. If you want to know yourself, because God is all, right? And if God is all, and God is within you, and you want to reach God level, then you should know all. Or at least have an idea about all, so that you can make a decision, an informed decision on which way you choose to follow and go with. And if you choose to follow that way also, it doesn't mean that you should be so stuck in that even if you hear some sense outside of what you have already believed in, you will push it aside or rather try to tear it down because now it's disturbing what you previously had chosen to know. No. Yes, it will not feel right. But give yourself a chance to listen to it, at least. That won't take anything away from you. There won't be a God that comes and smites you. You think these beings that are continuously evolving in the scope of things in the universe have time to come after you like a primary school teacher with maybe a shampoo? Because, what? You didn't do it like this, like I told you to do it. I hit you. Or you are going to that fire because now you're not doing. No, that's a waste of their time. They came to try and help you. They had already passed the course. That's why they called ascended masters. But they came because they knew that we already passed the course. It will be easy for us to retrieve this information and help them pass it also. They're not going to now be waiting for you to be doing it exactly like they said, or waiting to punish you. What are they going to get? If they are in spirit or they're in another form, what do they get from you worshipping or obeying them or giving them money, 10% gold and silver? What is air or spirit going to do with the gold and silver? You do realize that it only counts as value in the 3D realm, so it's human beings who are going to be using it, not the deity or God that you say is going to be using it. You trying to worship a God outside of you, which does not exist. You're neglecting the real God, which is within you, just there, crying and screaming to be heard and to actually get to some point where it feels like it's evolving and becoming a God, but instead it's enslaved by you. So, and this is also the reason why we tend to, even if we're told, like it will be in scripture or in writings by prophets or the ancient civilizations who put it in walls or whatever, trying to warn us that this thing will happen in this time frame. Because we can't comprehend on how they would have known, we just think, this is hogwash, or this is thing. We're just gonna do it our own way, and then boom, we get to that problem, the exact same problem. Why? Because before we disputed it, we didn't even give ourselves a chance to listen, try to understand why it's there, connect it with what we see and what we have experienced ourselves. So connect the dots and the dots and see that, okay, actually it's possible because of this way. How? Okay, now that I know that it's possible because of this way, it means I can counteract it by going this way. And trust me, you will not be able to do that if you are still going by a doctrine that uses fear to keep your mind paralyzed and your eyes straight to a point that you forget that you have a neck and you can actually turn to the side. If you're walking like that, then you definitely need a mediator. You need a leader to tell you, there's a car coming, so stop. There's what? There's going to be a disturbance there, go this side. But if you remember that you have a neck and you can turn this side and this side, you don't need somebody to be telling you that. You will be navigating by yourself, but you're still going to get to that point. So basically, I know it's a mouthful, it's a lot. And I summarize, I'll say that know thyself. In knowing thyself, you will know God. That's why he says, be still and know that I am God. When you are still, it means that you have quietened down all the noise outside of yourself. Because things that can move are already information, they are the physical. So quieten down the physical. What's left? The non-physical. Because if you're there, you're meditating or you're just sitting still and breathing, the only thing you are conscious of is the breath, which is spirit. And if you get the right rhythm, it will not disturb you with any noise. In fact, it will get you in the flow where you can actually start to be able to attract the information that you need. And it doesn't happen the first time you do it. It takes practice. There's something called a gestation period. For a child to be born, you have to wait 9 months, whether you like it or not. You know the child, the seed is there, it's planted, the child is growing, but you can't decide, you know what, I have a trip to Mauritius or Madagascar in 3 months, so this baby needs to be out in 3 months. No, it won't happen. It has to be that 9 months. So with everything that you do also, that's why patience is essential. Because the universal laws will not bend for you. You have to plan according to them so that you're working in harmony with them. And this is how God knows what he says will come across. It will happen. And this is how Zandi knows that what she says will happen. That's why you have, if you could go back with my other videos before this one, you'll notice that most of what I had predicted that would happen on Earth globally is happening now or has happened. And there was months before. Not because I'm a god, but because I decided to know thyself. And most probably my soul was predisposed to be here, to be doing this work, which would have made it easier for me or prompted me or did not give me rest until I did it or did not allow me to be sheep, even if it would have been easy to be sheep, because it's not easy to be to when everyone's going this way, for you to go the other way. You face a lot of backlash, because now people will not just be hating you or hating on you because what you're doing is affecting them. It's not affecting them at all. It's because it reminds a part of them that they're not sovereign. So if you can be sovereign, it means that they're lacking something, or they're scared of being sovereign. So they don't want to feel like they're scared or lesser, so they will take it out on you and make you to seem like the crazy one, or the bad one, or the tyrant, or the villain, or the... been called a lot of names. But they'll call you a lot of names just because they don't want to go within and face themselves. They'd rather point and blame on the outside. I love you guys. And I hope this helps someone. You know, in a 1,000 people. Oh, by the way, thank you guys. I have like 3,500 and something subscribers now. We're growing, family. We're growing. Appreciate it. So in these 3,000 people, even if 300 get what I mean, and that's still like a big estimation, 10%, yeah, it would mean that I'm actually doing my work here. When it's time for me to go, I'd be singing there in the ether, saying, "Yeah, boo, me accomplished it. I did my work." You know, so I'm hoping it'll be like that. But even if it's 5%, 2%, it still matters, because I would have changed that life who is surrounded by other lives, and will be prompted to change those lives, because once you get to know or see through the matrix, it's not nice to see others still squandered by it. Let's remember, we are ascending together. I love y'all. Have a beautiful day.